What is a relative row? You have the answer? What is row minus row? What is row index row? What is all this stuff? One of the most important areas of Excel is understanding the functionality of row counts and implementing row and column versus rows and columns. Get a count. Brad Williams, Excel Primed. How about relative rows? Well, we've gone down this path a couple times, but let's formally go through the process. We have row and row and row index and row, and we have a whole bunch of combinations, and we're going to just do relative rows. What are relative rows? Relative to the list of information we're working with. What's the comparison? Here's the worksheet, and we're looking at rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And it looks like there's some hidden rows in here too that aren't noted. So keep that in mind. If somebody throws a worksheet at you, do an inspection. You're going to have to do a visual because there's hidden rows in here because you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. They're out of sequence, Brad. Well, I'm not going to unhide them because it's going to screw up this layout. We'll work within what we have here. Worksheet rows, relative rows are the rows we work within. Over here, in the absence of an argument, the row function returns the row number of the cell that contains it, or the current row. When a cell reference is supplied, row returns the cell's row number. When a range is specified, row returns the number of the first row in that range. So here's the formula, row minus row, and this is not a table. It was a table at one point in time, and it's not. Oh, I guess it is a table. Sorry, stand corrected. I just formatted it a little bit different so it doesn't look like a table. Here is the first clue that it's a table. Up here in the ribbon, you see table design. We have table header. We have row minus row table headers. The first row returns 5, as row is given no argument. See here, row, no argument. Minus, and it resides in cell 5. The second row uses a structured reference. What's a structured reference? Structured reference means table. If you ever run into this term structured reference, you're working within a table. So the structured reference is table 1 headers equals the header row. Okay, here's the header row, relative row, menu, etc. The header row operates between B4 and F4. So row returns 4. We have the following for the first 3 rows of the table. B5 is equal to 5 minus 4 equals 1. This is a different approach to creating a relative row. We used rows to do this, but we can also do it with row. Get used to this format, not the structured part, not the structured reference, but the format. We got rows minus rows. Table 1 is equal to B5 to G15. What we're saying is we want to, B5 is going to equal 5 minus 4 equals 1. So we have row, which will be 5, minus row table 1 is going to be this up here. It's going to be 4. 5 minus 4 is equal to 1. 6 minus 4 is equal to 2. 7 minus 4 is 3, and so on and so forth. Over here, row returns the row number. Because we're using row twice, it's redundant. Don't worry about it. Then we have this other approach, okay? And this is my approach when I'm in a hurry. We're going to use this format in more complicated or more complex formulas. Probably not in the beginner session. We're going to probably use it in the intermediate and the advanced, so I encourage you to grasp this because we're going to do some really wild, esoteric calculations that you're going to shake your head going, wow, this is some powerful stuff. I will admit, Excel, for calculation purposes, is a powerful engine. It's all of this other detailed stuff that conflicts with the engine. And the engine is the Excel calculation. And I applaud it. All right. It's beautiful. And I love that part of Excel. All of this other noise, it's just collisions. It's just train wreck after train wreck. In my opinion, can be improved. It can be improved probably on an exponential basis. Microsoft, there's some brilliant folks there. But here's the deal. Why improve something where the cash flow is guaranteed? It's a business decision. And again, it's sort of like trying to break into Apple through a new application or new phone, right? You can see all the outsiders trying, but they're struggling. Well, try to break in with a new spreadsheet. Well, Google Sheets is more powerful than this thing. Google Sheets is cleaner. Google Sheets, a streamlined operation, but are they making inroads? No. Why? Because Microsoft still has that monopoly. But that's neither here nor there. Here we have this simple approach. You want a relative row in this flash, you take this number and you just add 1 to it. Be sure to check out all of our Excel courses. Excel data and text manipulation. We have an advanced beginners and intermediate course. Excel essentials. This is for individuals new to Excel. We have an advanced, excellent beginners, level 1 and level 2, and intermediate level course. Excel formulas, formulas only. We have a beginner, an advanced, and an intermediate level course. Click on any of the links. There's a short video that explains everything about the course. Check it out. But that's limited. You're not going to get very far with this down the road. And then over here, I just did the same thing because I was probably in a hurry. Here we have row minus index row. You want to get this complicated? It's up to you. You do row minus row table. This is what we did here. But then if you want to use the index and do the exact same thing, you're going to accomplish the same thing, but that seems like a lot of work. What are we doing? Returns a value based on its column and row number. Well, we're going to have to recognize here, look at this. You have to make sure we have the row number and the column number and so on and so forth. That just to get row number seems like a lot of work to me. If the header row is disabled, the above formula will fail. If you have a table without a header row, you can use this alternative. So there's always an option. There's also equals, rows. We're going to hit B19, put a absolute value here, hit F4. We're going to go colon B19. And if my approach is correct, and then we just copy it down, Control D. That is relative to only here. All we're doing is counting. This is not relative per se. Okay. Okay, I typed in the wrong information. I was a little advanced in terms of my input. You can do this, and we will dive into this a little bit later. Here's another approach. So we have this row table deal. And again, there has no reference whatsoever to do with any header rows. There's a third approach, and that is you can use this index thing, which I would, but you can also use this rows, and we've done this in the past. What I did was I referenced B19 in the reference. Okay, it should be your starting point, which is B5. B5 has to stay a constant, and then you can see here that we're referencing B19. And so we're just counting from there, and then it's still relative and still matching. Okay, I know I am way ahead of myself here, but I just wanted to give you a quick snapshot of the other options. So in summary, we have the rows, and this works with tables. We have the quick and dirty approach where you can just add 1 to a hard-coded number. You have to put in the number first. This is my technique when all I need is a row. I'm not doing anything else. You can use this row index row over here because we're not referencing the header. You can use the rows function to do the exact same thing. Brad Williams, XL Prime, thank you.